Now it's time for today's perspective, and we hear a lot here on France 24 of the destruction, of course, of Gaza. Our coverage often concentrating on attacks on hospitals and schools. But what about universities? Well, since Israel's military operations began in 2023, at least 12 universities and colleges have been destroyed. An estimated 94 university professors have been killed, as have hundreds of students and dozens of university administrators. Now, those figures that I just gave you come from the organisation Academic Solidarity with Palestine. And as you can see in this photo from the group, 4,000 volunteers in all who aim in the short term to help Gazan students with online courses. You can see one of those sessions going on here to help replace the education they're missing. In the longer term, the group are also preparing to try to restart higher education when, of course, it becomes possible. Well, with me now is French mathematician Michel Broué, who's been taking part in that programme. He held a webinar just last week, in fact. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us on the programme. Explain to us, first of all, how it actually works, can you?
Well, it works under very difficult and horrible, I must say, circumstances. But this organization, which is called Academic Solidarity with Palestine, distributes some SIM cards to people who can be reached by such cards, and they walk sometimes long distance to try to listen to these lectures. So there have been so far 2 talks, one given by the very famous physicist called Carlo Rovelli, the second one by me a few days ago. And what is absolutely remarkable is that very prominent scientists have accepted to give next lectures, which can be, as I said, attended directly or also in a kind of a replay, because we leave it on the internet. And I took a note of the next lecturer, who are all either a Nobel Prize in physics or a Fields Medal in mathematics. The next will be given by Terence Tao, who is probably the most famous mathematician so far on Earth. He's in Berkeley. Then we'll have Alain Aspect, Nobel Prize in physics, Anne L'Huillier, Nobel Prize in physics, Michel Mayer, Nobel Prize in physics, Cédric Villani, he is known in France at least. Yeah. He's Fields medalist. And Edward Witten, who is also Fields medalist and who could be a Nobel Prize because he's a physicist. So this is absolutely remarkable. That
it's remarkable as well, just the way that something like that can happen amidst a war, isn't it? Just technically, I suppose.
Technically, of course, it's difficult. Technically, of course, you can see, as you saw on the pictures, you showed how it is almost impossible, but possible. We are in the middle of what is called the international rights, which has been adopted by the, in 48, actually, the very same year at the creation of Israel. And I took a note of what they are, because they are not abstraction. They are really, it's exactly what we scientists are trying to have respected. These universal rights are inherent to us all, regardless of nationality, sex, national or ethnic origin, color, religion, language, or any other status. They range from the most fundamental, the rights to life, to those that make life worth living, such as the rights to food, education, work, health, and liberty.
And that education word is key.
Exactly. It's what we want.
That list that you read out, I mean, it's incredible as well. We talked about the technicalities of it, but it's incredible, as you say, the calibre of people who've agreed to take part. Why did you, and why do you think they wanted to take part?
Oh, because science cannot exist without these fundamental rights. Science is inherent, as he said by in 48, part of this fundamental right, and science will die like the rest of mankind if the actual evolution of the whole world and Earth goes on. And I'm rather pessimistic. I'm pessimistic in the context, and I want to fight, not to justify my pessimism.
Did you adapt what you said to that lecture to what you might say if you were giving in a lecture here in Paris?
Not really. I was asked by the organizer to give what we call a colloquium lecture. A colloquium is a talk given in a university and concerning the whole mathematics department, for example. So from outside it may sound strange, but mathematicians do not understand other areas but theirs in mathematics. So when we give a colloquium talk, we are supposed to speak to all people, and they should all understand. So my talk was designed to be understood by, say, third or fourth years university students, essentially. And it's what I did. No, I didn't adapt. No, there is no such thing as pity or this. Respect is the first thing.
Yeah. And what do you think the students get out of it? How important is it for them?
I think that we decided to take to give such lectures is very important for exactly for the respect they feel from the rest of the world. They still exist. They are worth hearing such talks, and they will be saved. I hope so by people who defend, who fight for education, for intelligence, for fighting stupidity, which is invading the world, really.
Inevitably, of course, some students who might have wanted to be there couldn't be there. I mean, amid the situation in the country, it must be incredibly difficult.
Or were killed during the talk. I also thought of that. This is hard. This is terrible.
Mm. What do you hope for the future? I mean, the idea, presumably, is to carry on. You've mentioned some of the other talks that are happening, but I mean, in the longer term, presumably, rebuilding is needed as well. Once hopefully it's over.
I think that many scientists will contribute to reconstruction. How and when, no one knows. The sooner the better, of course.
Good to have you on the programme today. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us. Michel Broué, mathematician who was taking part in a webinar just last week, and many more of them to come by the sound of it as well. Thanks very much for coming in and talking to us here on France 24.